Hello and welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, hello again. If you're new, hi, welcome. So today I am doing a little video around 5 skills that you need to work in a startup. I'm probably going to do this a lot and count down. Do not be alarmed by the size of my hands.
What the fuck?
Yes, they are ginormous, but they cannot hurt you through the YouTube screen, so don't panic. This video is about the 5 skills that no one told you you needed to work in a startup. But you do. So I've been working in a tech startup for over a year now, and I have to say I have learned so many things, but there are definite skills that will help you get through the door. If you are thinking about joining a startup, have a look at these 5 skills and maybe it will help you decide. So skill number 1 is you need to have the ability to problem solve. When you're in a startup, there is always new challenges being thrown your way, whether it's like how you scale as a business or how you deal with clients or how you work with systems and processes within your business. You need to be able to problem solve. You can't just kind of sit around and be like, oh, I don't know how to do this. It's not going to be good enough. It's really important that you are able to think through situations, work out what the problem is, find the solution. And that is a super key skill if you're joining a startup. So skill number 2 that you need is you need to be able to work in a small team. My company when I joined was 10 people and we're now just over 20. Startups vary in size. You might be joining when there's 4 people, you might be joining when there's 150, but you need to be able to work in that quite a small knit team. So this means being agreeable, I guess, not someone who's argumentative, not someone who feels they need to push their ego. There is not really any space for big egos in startups. You need to be able to work with people and you need to be able to keep your head above ground and not let things stress you out really badly in a way that you end up taking it out on your team, because you work in such kind of close quarters and you're really trying to build a business together. So it's important that you're someone who's worked with people, get on really well and be friendly to your team, be motivating, be positive, because if everyone's miserable, your business probably isn't going to go very far. Skill number 3 is being able to adapt. So this is absolutely crucial because your job will change and the tasks that you do throughout the day also probably will change. You need to be someone who can go from one task to another task to a different part of the business and really just adapt to whatever is going on in that situation. If you're someone who has very rigid working lines, and it's not a bad thing, a lot of people work in that way, but probably being in a startup isn't going to be for you. So if you're someone who's a bit more versatile, willing to pick up a task and learn how to do that and expand kind of their skill base, a startup's probably a good place for you. So skill number 4 is being honest. This might sound like a bit of a weird one, but it's super important. So when you're building a company and you're in a small team, there's not really any place to hide behind like, oh, I didn't do that and I'm just going to sort of ignore it and hope my manager doesn't realise. You can't do that. You need to be honest in the way that you work. So you need to be able to sit down with your boss and be like, look, I really don't know what I'm doing right now. And it's also important to kind of own up when you maybe have done something wrong, because if you don't, it's a small team. Everyone's going to realise eventually. So you need to be kind of willing to be honest and open with your team, because it's the only way you start to grow and build as a business. So that can be really hard. For me personally, if I don't know how to do something, I find it really frustrating. And in the past, I maybe have been someone who's just like, oh, it's fine, I'll just like work away on it for a bit and spend lots of time trying to work it out. But in reality, if you just kind of bring it to the surface and you're like, look, I don't know what I'm doing here, I need someone to help me, then most likely will be someone who has a skill that can help you solve this task. So be honest in your workplace, and I think that kind of is useful for anywhere, but especially in a startup. And the 5th skill is probably the hardest one to train yourself, I think. If you're going to join a startup, you really need to be self-motivated. There is not someone who's going to sit down every day and tell you what you're doing and tell you how to do it. It's very much working out your own path and working out how the processes work in the company and what your role is. There is always something to do, whether it's to do with sales or to do with the product or the processes. If you're someone who can go, oh, I've spotted something we can do better and I'm willing to take it on as a task to work out a better way to do it, you'll do really well in a startup, and the people who are in charge, whether it's your founders, your CEO, will value you so much for that. So these are my 5 skills that I think are really important if you're going to join a startup. So just to recap, you need to be able to problem solve, to be able to work in a really small team, to be able to adapt, you need to be honest, and lastly, you have to have your own drive and set your own agenda. So thank you very much for watching. If you like my video, then please do subscribe, and that would make me super happy. If you're thinking of joining a startup, questions about what it's like to work in one, trying to find a job in a startup, just write in the comments below and I will get back to you and we can chat all things startup. What am I doing? Thanks very much, guys. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you will be back.